This motion, talks about the fact that the numbers of discretionary medical cards fell from 80,524 at the start of 2011 to 63,000 at the end of 2012. And in the first 7 months of this year, we've had a further reduction of 8,100, which is a monthly average reduction of 1,163. And this is against a background of obvious increases in eligibility, increases in suitability on the part of many in society by virtue of the situation we find ourselves in. And it has gone to such a pitch that this is not the first time that these issues have been brought to bear here in the Chamber, with the view to having these issues resolved, with the view to having these issues addressed in a manner which we feel would be more in line with what we find in our constituency offices throughout the country. And to such an extent that when I consult my own office and I consult with my clinics on a regular basis and meet with this growing number of people who have been reviewed and lost medical cards following reviews, it lends me to have to contact a sample of those today and ask their permission to use their case tonight here in the Chamber. And I've been given that permission. But I don't wish, and I wouldn't use anybody's name, but I will make the cases available to the Minister after. And I'm going to use my time to give you an example of some of the cases. Helen has had a full medical card for a number of years as she suffers from severe rheumatoid arthritis and attends Vincent hospitals on a regular basis. Her application came for renewal in April 2013 and was refused. We requested a review and that was disallowed. We then requested an appeal and only got word yesterday that she was granted a doctor's only medical card. This lady is on medication which costs her over 100 a week and she does not have the means to meet. Timothy has always had a full medical card on medical grounds as he suffers from ADHD, drug addiction, depression and a fracture to a vertebrae. As he has held the card, it also entitles 3 children to a card. Came up for renewal in August, was refused, currently under review. Anne has always had a full medical card on medical grounds as she suffers from osteopenia and severe rheumatoid arthritis. Her case came up for review in April 2013. Application refused, went to review, refused again, and also refused on appeal. Rita has had a full medical card as she had a number of medical conditions and is currently awaiting surgery on her kidneys and her bowel. Her card came up for renewal in August and was awarded only a doctor visit card. We requested a review of this case and await the outcome. Audrey has always had a full medical card. She suffers from hypertension and is long-term medication, attends her GP on a regular basis. Her application came for review in April 2013 was refused. We requested a review of the decision. The original decision was upheld. Her case is currently under appeal. Kieran has always held a full medical card on medical grounds as Kieran suffers from COPD, sleep apnea, heart disease and high blood pressure. Came up for review in February 13, was refused. We requested a review which is ongoing. Jack is age 9. He's held a full medical card. He has multiple disabilities. Physical disability is that of cerebral palsy and a hearing impairment. Jack's medical card came up for review in February and he was awarded a doctor visit card. They requested a review and the original decision was upheld. We therefore appealed the decision and that again was upheld. And the final case during the short time that I have in this sample relates to a young lady I've known, and I'll just give you, I'll quote a letter I wrote to the Minister and to the Department in early August, on the 1st of August. I write further to representations in relation to the above named, would you say her name is Jeanette, and further to a phone conversation this morning with somebody in your section. I've known Jeanette and her family all my life. She's from my hometown. She's born without her lower limbs and has been in a wheelchair all her life. This is not or never did deter her, and she lived a very fulfilling life and has continued to do so and excelled in sport in all aspects of community life. She works in the HSC, has always sought not to be an economic burden on the state, and she has, unfortunately, her own medical needs which she retains, which surpass her means. And now that she has dependents, namely her partner whom is unemployed, and a miracle baby now 12 months old. That baby, unfortunately, is in constant need of specialist medical attention, and all the relevant details pertaining to that case, economic and medical, are on the file. I said I find it distressing that this application process has been so poorly dealt with, considering the amount of communication that she had with the relevant sections dealing with her application. She was informed, for example, over the phone that the cards were granted, only to be informed the opposite days later. It's unbelievable that she should be forced to avail of my office in seeking the only decision possible to be arrived at in her case. I said then that I don't normally seek to personalise cases in such a manner, but I'm too well aware of the need in this case and this instance, and could not for the life of me understand how the case had been dragged on so long in the first instance, and how a medical assessor could not find her favour in relation to her application. I asked for arrangements to be made for her cards to be issued, or failing that, to make available to me the full reasoning and methodology at a decision that the medical cards were not necessary for a medical perspective. Unfortunately, I didn't receive any explanation from the office in question in relation to that decision and how it was arrived at. But unfortunately, the lady in question did not retain her medical card, and is just in receipt of a doctor's only visit card, and does not have the means to meet the demands on both her and her child. It does not, and is in great medical need for those, apart from the financial means at all. As I said, it's just a sample of what is prevalent in all our offices, and it is a sample that has grown on a greater scale as the months pass. And it is plain to see, for me, it is plain to see from my colleagues that these issues are not being dealt in the manner in which we can stand over. And I ask you to take a personal interest in the cases that we will forward to you, in order to see where is it there are failings within the relevant section in relation to this issue, or is it that? And I doubt it very much that it is the case.
Your 5 minutes.
It couldn't be that a direction is being given, but it seems patently obvious that it might be the case.
Okay.